This is Wandering Universe. Today, I'm going back to Egypt to explore another pyramid of a different kind. So, let's go exploring. Hello, and welcome back. Yes, this is what you're seeing in front of you, the beautiful Earth, or what some people call it, the big blue marble. But I'm not going to talk about Earth today. I'm going to talk about a continent. Yes, we're going to go exploring. We're going to explore somewhere along the celestial equator, believe it or not. So, let's go exploring. Come with me. Okay, I'm going to spin it around here. Yep, we're back in the heart of the African continent. Now we're going to go deeper. We're going to go right in. So come with me. Come on, come with me. Don't be shy. That's right, we're going back to Egypt, hooray! And we're going to explore a pyramid of a different kind, so come with me. So as you can see, this is the Nile River, as you well know. This area right here, this little island continent, well, it's not really a continent, but kind of like an island surrounded by a nearby lake, juts out from the this area of the Nile River. And as you can see here, if you ever dare to venture out in this particular part of the country, there are crocodiles there. So I wouldn't venture out into the waters anytime soon. Now, we're going to go in. No, we're not going to explore We're not going to explore the pyramids of Giza, as you can see right here. Yes, you all know what this is. And the Sphinx is just adjacent to it. And you know it's facing directly to the river. Correct. Now, we're going to go south from the Giza pyramids. So we're going to go here. And we're going to explore another pyramid. Now, let's see if we can find this beauty of a pyramid. Okay, so I'll go out a little bit here. So we're going to Saqqara. That's where we're going today. Now, in Saqqara, there's something hidden here. No, we're not going to the other pyramids. We're going a little bit further up from the other pyramids. And yes, it faces directly to the Nile River. Just show you. That's right, this is called Dosa Pyramid, or it's called the Pyramid of Dosa, or the Step Pyramid. This is just a Google Earth image. It is a little bit distorted because remember, satellites orbit around the Earth, and the time it photographed this image was a little bit slow, so the speed of the satellite doesn't necessarily go with the speed of the Earth's rotation. And as you can see, it must have just taken this image just a few seconds off. And it looks a little bit distorted, but if you're actually down there, it's not. It's actually pretty geometrically aligned and it's perfectly straight. Now, I'm going to go in a little bit here. As you can see, these are called mastabas right here. So that's a mastabas there. There's another mastabas nearby. And this is called the Pyramid of User-Kaf, as you can see right here. I'll go in a little bit closer. It looks like a mound, but I reckon that this pyramid was built on top of whatever was laid there. Now, if the brickwork, the original brickwork, still remains under this heap of rubble, then that means that the size of the pyramid was actually a little bit smaller than what you see here in this image. So, we're going to go into this pyramid today, the Step Pyramid. Now, as you can see, there's a lot happening. It looks busy. It looks complex. It looks structured. And at the same time, if you have a look at the way the town is planned, there's other structures around it. Whether it's a residential complex or whether it's actually an industrial complex, we don't know. That remains unexplained. However, what it does show you is that this structure was used for something entirely different other than just burying someone, one person. I find that theory implausible. So, what we're looking at is this complex. It looks like a city. When you really look at it closely, it looks like a city. Now, there are alternative theories as to what it was used. Mainstreamers will always say it was there to bury someone glorious so you can have his afterlife, okay? That's what they made you to believe. But I think it was something else. You can tell by the way it's been engineered, by the way it's been designed, carefully laid out. I doubt it was for that reason. Because there is another one in close proximity to it that looked like had a pyramid, and it looks like it was some type of small township that looks like a residential zone, including this settlement right here and this settlement just across it from the step pyramid. So it gets very interesting. There are so many settlements, not just around Saqqara, but also in other parts of Egypt. There are a lot of buried settlements that are yet to be unearthed. Now, I'll show you something else before I go into the step pyramid, before I get into it, to the juicy bits of it. Have a look here. There's more settlements here, and there's something else down here. Now, I don't know, if I go in a little bit closer, whether there's a tunnel that leads to an underground shaft or leads to another underground burial or settlement. I don't know. But there's something going on here, and it looks like there's also a settlement nearby. Now, there's another settlement here, but have a look at this. There's something here. It looks huge. What was it? We don't know. But it looks like there was some sort of wall encased around it. Was there a building within it in this flat area? I don't know. But according to this rubble, it looks like there was. How old is it? We don't know. However, it does have something to do with the step pyramid, believe it or not. What was it used for? I don't know. But all I can say is that these pyramids were not built just to look pretty. They were there because they operated some mechanical device within it that was connected to water. And water played an important element to do something within these structures, right? I mean, how else would you see it? Now, I'm going to go in closer. So it's a huge complex. There's so much to explore, so much to unearth. It's pretty amazing. All right, you ready for reviewing? Yep, you're going to get one right now. So I'll make into a 3D image. I'll just bring it out just a little bit so you can see the entire complex in a 360 view. So here we go. And there you have it. Enjoy. Okay, so there you had your pretty view. I'm going to turn it around. I'll go in just a little bit, just so you can have a nice view and study this image in your own time. So, we're going to explore Giza Pyramid. Enjoy. The pyramids in Egypt are the most alluring objects on Earth, graciously silhouetted by the morning sunrise and evening sunset. A majestic product of superior technology embodied in stone. Not shy from attention, they advertise their splendid architecture, enthralling our hearts and minds since its rediscovery in the 19th century. Amongst several other pyramids dotted along the Nile River, there is one pyramid that stands out from the rest, the Giza Pyramid. Its step design and labyrinth interior tells a story of a once advanced civilization with great technology. A unique technology that is far superior to our modern capabilities. It has stood the test of time, continuing to outlive all modern skyscrapers' limited lifespan on Earth. This pyramid is an exemplar of its geometric engineering, modelling its systematic edifice for the world to explore. Whilst I examined the vastness of this pyramid complex, a light bulb came on. Giza Pyramid was once a large city, equivalent to our modern cities, with other neighbouring townships that offered similar facilities. This makes me wonder, whoever built this pyramid had town planning experience who had a good knack for complex geometric ideas. This rare structure stands in its own right in design and construction. Stylish, charming, and groovy. Combined with several names, are attributed to its desirable shape. Giza Pyramid, the Step Pyramid of Giza, and the Step Pyramid. The limestone brick pattern glistens in the morning sun, changing its colour throughout the day. It sits on a 15-hectare land surrounded by a few nearby masterbuses. It's located in the Saqqara necropolis, northwest of the ruins of Memphis in Egypt. This superb model stands at 62.5 metres in height and 109 metres by 121 metres at the base. It is a four-sided, six-step structure. From the outside, it looks rough and coarse, but if you examine it closely, the brickwork is stacked neatly in each straight row. The facade shows a sequence scales pattern encased around the steps. Made from limestone, the structure gives the impression of a swirling motion from the apex right down to the base. The flat-top apex once held another structure above it if you look closely. The rectangular platform has an imprinted squarish-shaped base. Further out from the pyramid, there is a large open plaza facing south. A causeway would have linked to Mihos's Mastabas pyramid. At the base of the step pyramid, a limestone wall is encased around the edge of the structure. Due to change of environment and socio-economic circumstances, many of its large stone blocks remain missing. This structure is not alone. It is accompanied by a vast mortuary complex, a huge courtyard with ceremonial structures, a few still standing mastabas, and lots of pretty decor. Archaeologists have estimated that it may be one of the earliest models constructed for its time. The exterior looks deceptively rough and uneven. It wasn't of great importance of its construct. It was the interior that mattered. I don't believe this was the earliest built model. Bent and Median pyramids were built much earlier. History paints a pretty picture of a king who had a kinky fascination for death and conquest. But the way I see it, many history books who talk of brilliant ancient Egypt are based on assumptions, and you know what assumptions lead to. This one-of-a-kind monument was constructed in the 27th century BC, commissioned by King Dosa of the 3rd dynasty. King Dosa fancied himself as a god and wanted to be treated as such. So, he had an inkling towards this pyramid, using it as a vehicle to venture off into the afterlife. Dreaming of wild boogie nights, a lavish harem filled with exquisite-looking men and women, and to top it off, endless beauty sleeps in the comfort of Egyptian cotton sheets. In reality, his dream of an extravagant afterlife never came true. According to a small written text, a strange character by the name of Imhotep was given the title of architect. Yet, there is very little evidence to support this. His only qualifications he had in his time were Chancellor to the King and High Priest preaching the sun god Ra. But nowhere in any inscription explains how he was appointed the title with no architecture experience. Although the pious faculty of antiquities estimated it took 19 years to complete the project, there is no actual blueprint found anywhere near the complex. Okay, let's get this straight. To build a huge hunk of a structure, one must possess a huge interest in pyramidal engineering, other than guessing the diameter of the sun. If Imhotep was the chosen architect, wouldn't you think he'd be highly qualified to do the job? I mean, does he look like a whiz-a-bang architect to you? If they were truly interested in pyramidal structures, then why on earth were they busy squandering their time meditating to the sun till they went red in the face? There is much controversy surrounding this pyramid, mostly over its methodology. The Faculty of Antiquities have not ruled out ancient Egyptian primitive tools may have contributed to the formation of the pyramid. But several other alternative theories suggest the use of highly advanced machinery would have been more applicable in crafting a complex structure. Some archaeologists and historians believe that the outer steps were cladded in Chura limestone. But from another perspective, it's more likely it was left as it were, naked and unafraid. To determine its actual age, one must compare it to the pyramid built in Caral, 182 kilometers north from the city of Lima in Peru. The estimated age diagnosed from found artifacts were between 3,000 to 5,000 years old. This would make Dosa Pyramid approximately the same age if it was built around the same time. So, is this to say that this pyramid was a prototype prior to the mega Giza pyramids being built? Dosa Pyramid has undergone numerous excavations, restorations and renovations, assuming they knew what they were doing. And they are uncovering more of its buried secrets, piecing together its true history. So, allow me to do the honours by taking you on a guided tour to the underbelly of this beautiful wonder. Are you ready? Let's go. Appearances may deceive the naked eye due to its rough and uneven exterior. But, upon close inspection, the neatly stacked brickwork was a job very well done. Even though this pyramid has withstood the harshest environmental changes, the structure has remained remarkably intact. Especially the apex, with its flattened rectangular smooth surface, shows very little sign of wear. Each step juts out at a right angle with a smooth curved edge. Yet, If you measured it from the base to the apex, it draws a line angling to a triangular formation. These steps have been reworked throughout the ages, completed in different steps. No pun intended. The foundation of this pyramid consisted of layered slabs by using a slab stacking technique that created the foundation in layered step slabs. This aligned each step to make the entire structure hold firmly into the ground, whilst retaining flexibility from the Earth's movement. A method mirrored for the pyramids of the Sun, Great Ziggurat, Monte de Acoti, Chichen Itza, and many more. The main entrance is at the base of the pyramid. As soon as you see the smooth limestone steps, you descend down inside a long tunnel. Over on your right, you'll see column after column acting as scaffolds holding up the structure. These columns were undoubtedly not built by the hands of Roman or Egyptian slaves. This elongated passage was once covered in alabaster or calcite. Once you reach the end of the tunnel, you'll get a lovely view from the top, the main chamber. Inside this chamber contains a massive 100-foot shaft. At the top edge of the archway, there are a few unusual wooden beams protruding from the walls. They are made of cedar wood. It seems these beams were lodged right into the limestone ceiling. No one has found a suitable explanation as to its abandonment. At one end of the lumpy ceiling, there are two wooden beams poking out to the side. One of them has a splintered end and the other is jammed into the wall. What's interesting is there are two perfectly square chiselled holes. And again, over to the other side, you'll find similar holes along one part of the stone wall. As you look further down, over to the left, there is a dugout tunnel directly facing into the shaft. Over on the other side, there is another dugout tunnel, but slender in size. It still remains a mystery as to why they face opposite each other. As you look straight down, directly below is a massive red granite box. On top of it contains several rows of oblong cut granite blocks stacked neatly in progression. Note there are two other large square holes just above it. And notice on the other side of this wall is an oddly shaped cutout of a right angle L-shaped mark of a long rectangle depression in the middle. This would indicate that some kind of mechanism was held in place that operated the granite box. If you look closely, the granite oblong blocks are stacked neatly in a row. You can tell by the precision cuts. There is also a round centerpiece near the end. It appears to have held some kind of granite column that possibly held a rotation device. Then, we proceed back up to the ceiling, and once again, you see two perfectly square cut-out holes along the wall. What were these holes used for? One only knows that these holes might have held up a long beam that expanded across the centre of the shaft. Was its purpose to operate some kind of mechanical contraption, or something else? Whilst it underwent a massive 14-year restoration, 80 tons of calcite or alabaster was literally thrown out of the tunnels. Discarded them quickly and quietly like it were garbage. I'm beginning to suspect that the mainstream coneheads were secretly ordered by their silent elite investors to quickly and quietly dispose this vital piece of evidence with pretend amnesia. You could sure smell a rat from a mile away. 18th century explorers rediscovered this abandoned relic, almost buried up to its neck in sand. Napoleon Bonaparte, who had a spirit for adventure, trekked across the desert plains, along with his entourage of experts, in search of a mysterious pyramid, and he happened to stumble upon this one. It wasn't until the 1920s a team of enthusiastic British and French Egyptologists like Jean-Philippe Lheureux made the maiden voyage to investigate this abandoned relic. In 1992, an earthquake shifted its internal structure that left long thin cracks along the shaft wall. Finally, after a long 14-year restoration, it was opened to the public in March 2020. Put it this way, King Dosa's primary ambition was to have fun in the sun and party hard in the afterlife forevermore. All thanks to his infatuating love affair with his fantasy god Horus. His obsession was so chronic, his ego turned him to a freak. So rather than openly admit he had an addiction, instead he polished his ego to a high mirror shine by self-proclaim a name, Netjuket, if you know what I mean. Yet the New Kingdom visitors gave him this name thousands of years after his death. In the end, this darling king wanted to be God for eternity, by standing on a soapbox shouting to the masses how admirable his ego glistened in the sun. And the masses took it like it was gospel. Imhotep is a fish out of water. There is very little mention of him in any written text. But, get this, there are many discrepancies surrounding his character. The only time he got a mention was 3,000 years later. There is not one written text that divulges into his life story for 1,200 years after his death. Dosa Pyramid is the work of phenomenal engineering of ancient yesteryear. A robust, stable structure shining a light of durability. The champion of master craftsmanship that will outlast all other modern skyscrapers in the world. The only name drop evident of Dosa's existence is a stele. It briefly mentions Dosa as the saviour of famine. The only building project he undertook was restoring a temple for the god Kumun, a ram water god, and ruthlessly taxing people to fund the project. An inscription at the base of a pedestal said of a mystery person who outlived Dosa was the brains behind the construction of the Step and King Zekhemet's pyramids. This pyramid, like many others, were not built to bury the dead. Alternative archaeologists stealthily shine a torch to another hypothesis, that it served as a power plant that housed a giant coil mechanism, so huge in fact it was powerful enough to light up an entire city. If this were the case, it's easier to swallow a lie that paints a pretty picture that masquerades us as special beings. However, many ancient texts, including the Old Testament, claim, without unquestionable concrete evidence to support it, that ancient humans as the master builders of these momentous structures. There are many contradictions and hypocritical claims that never ascertain how they acquired prior knowledge of quantum mechanics, geometric engineering, and principles of thermodynamics to incorporate such large-scale building projects. In other words, these pyramids and many others were in no way, shape or form built for superstitious purposes. Whoever they were have left their mark imprinted in stone as a reminder that we were never the acclaimed master builders that built these great monuments. They did. There is a ton to uncover about this pyramid, so rather than fit it all in one video, I'm going to expand it into a series, updating you on new and exciting clues hidden beneath it. It's pretty mind-blowing, I can assure you. In the next video, I'm going to explore into the heart of the Northern Hemisphere, a remote continent that has a pyramid hidden within the Scandinavian mountains, and you wouldn't believe where it's located. That's all for now.